there's a hell of a lot of noise out there. Wherever you look on social media, there's this influencer, there's this expert, and to be honest with you, Diyari, a lot of them have got no credibility. They are popping up. They've been on some course. They're selling some sort of program, and they don't have the backup to really back themselves up. They just don't. And there's a lot of noise, and it's really frustrating. However, there's a lot of really good people out there, and you've got to shift through the noise to get to the good people. And when we talk about becoming a best-selling author and writing a book, from my own experience 10 years ago, I was like, well, there's no way that can happen for me, because number one, I didn't think I was that smart or academic. I'm dyslexic. I don't know how to read and write properly. And who the hell's going to listen to me? Anyway, that's all a limiting belief. And none of that is true. None of that is true. And the reality is every single person listening to this has got something that could have massive value out to the marketplace. So why would you want to become a best-selling author? Well, for me, 10 years ago, I was doing no money down property deals. I was trying to build a property portfolio using investor funds. I was going to networking events. I was putting stuff out on social media, and I became very good at using other people's money, building relationships, but I wanted to get my message out there to more people. So rather than doing one-to-one, I wanted to do one-to-many, and I wanted to be seen as the property guy in England that could show you how to use none of your own money, because that is a big block for people getting into property. Like, I want to do property deals, but I haven't got any money. And people use the lack of money or the fear of money as an excuse as to why they can't push forward in life. And I was in a position 10 years ago where I had no money, but I got my first joint venture partner, Dave from Basildon, £5,000, Pollyanna, £250,000, Neil and Elizabeth, £50,000. Fast forward 10 years, £11 million of other people's money has been used into projects. So I was like, wow, how can I do this? So I got myself a great mentor who said, Liam, this is how we're going to launch your first book. Rather than you write it, you're going to get in front of camera, because you're a good speaker now. You're going to get in front of camera and you are going to talk through all of your modules. And that's what I did. I came into an office. I put the camera in front of me. I mapped out the book with my mentor and people in the team, and we got all the chapters and the sub chapters and all the modules, and I based a signature solution, and I just spoke in front of camera for the whole day, and then that went off to a copyright. And that was just one way of doing it, right? And that book launched, and it really, really positioned me as the go-to expert. So why would you want a book? Position yourself as a go-to expert, become the authority in your marketplace. And it is a great way, Diyari, as you know, to build trust and relationships. And you're a best-selling author.
3 times.
3 times best-selling author. You've
6 books.
6 books.
Yeah.
So you are the man. And since working with you over the last couple of years, to see how you do things is absolutely incredible, because you did it the old way, and now there's a new way, and you've actually created a blueprint, right? Can you talk us through the new way of launching a book?
Yeah, no, thank you very much for that. So what happened, I did, like you said, I got 6 books, and I did some books in collaboration with others, like with Sir Richard Branson, the legendary Brian Tracy, and these books became bestsellers. And then I had to find my own way, my own voice. And during COVID, where businesses all closed down, I sat down and did a lot of research. I thought, hang on a second, we've been through this before, some form, many years ago, or tens of years ago, hundreds of years ago, whatever. So how did people survive? So I actually did a lot of research. and this was the days before, kind of almost before ChatGPT, the way it is now. So I then did 13, 14 hours research every day because we had time. And that turned into a book called A Business Not As Usual, because businesses were not as usual during COVID. And it was like a blueprint for business survival, you know. And now in today, if I do the same book, probably it will take me maybe less than a week to do it, because we have more tools. So for instance, one of the things that people ask me, how did you do your book? How did it become a bestseller? Because that one also became bestseller. And the good thing with books is that, I mean, I donated all the proceedings to children's charity. So there's a lot of good, apart from the information that's in the book. You have a recent book, which we're going to talk about it. I mean, the information itself is amazing to this world. But also the proceedings, you can do whatever you do with it. So in my case, I've got, you know, I love children's charities, so I thought I'd give it to them. However, people were asking me, Diyari, how did you do it? I'm like, well, you know, I did it the hard way. Let me change this for you a little bit. So I created my 6-step launch. It's just called Launch, basically. It's how to launch your book. And that's what I teach on my bootcamp and on my courses. And now I've got a few students who are, I'm proud to say that they're on the very end of finishing their books. And the whole idea is we will make these books bestsellers, hopefully. But on top of that, while we were doing all these things, ChatGPT obviously is running at the speed of 1,000 miles per hour. So we had to catch up with it or even be a little bit ahead. So I went and created my own software. And this is a software where you feed all the information and it knows. It's almost like you teach it your personality and then it will come out with a book. Now, I wouldn't say go and take it to the printer straight away, go through it because it's your book, but it's just crazy. And I don't know what else is around the corner. But I think, like you said, Liam, if we want to be, you know, identified as one of the authorities in our industry and one of the top people to go to, we need to prove it through a book. To say, here I am. A book, actually, once you write it, there's no going back. That's you on paper. And it's very important. And therefore, we basically put ourselves out there through books. And do you want to share your new book?
Yeah, you know what?
Please.
It's literally arrived in the office today. It's called Property Success. This is like 4 years in the making because, you know, I just lost some focus, lost some time. We were very, very slow getting this out, but yeah, I'm pleased to say that this the book's here, and we're doing a whole launch campaign around this. So I think later today I'm going to be doing some videos, and we're going to be getting this out to hopefully, you know, many people. Will have an online version, we'll have a digital version. You know, this book is not to make money from selling the book. It's used as a top of funnel way of building relationship. And, you know, it's 209 pages. It talks people through the 7-step process that we use to start, scale and grow our property portfolios. And yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a huge hit, and it's another asset that will, you know, stay there for many years. And it's a great way to build relationships. And, you know, people will get this physical copy or an online version. They'll read it. It's full of great value. It's very interactive. There's homework and things to do and lists that they got to do. Nice. And it's going to hopefully help people get on the property ladder and go and get their first 1, 2, 3 deals, offers accepted in the next 90 days.
Amazing. Now, before we go any further, could I have a signed copy of that?
Of course you can. We'll do it today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So really, as you said, with a book can be a door opener. The first thing, I don't know if you remember many years ago when we met, the very first thing we did, not at the first time when we met, that second time we met at your academy, I actually got you my book signed. And I handed it to you. And I remember very vividly, you grabbed it, you checked it, you saw your name, you saw I signed it for you, you checked the back. Thank you very much. Now that immediately differentiated me a little bit from the other attendees, straight away. So it's a door opener. It's going into somebody's world. You give them your book It's not, like you said, not always about making the money from the book. Sometimes the spin-off of the book, and that's what I teach my students. I say, look, people always say, how much money can I make out of my book? I say, well, if you just want to, unless if your book is the next, I don't know, J.K. Rowling kind of stuff, the book itself will make some money, depending how you market it, everything. But it's what you make is the opportunities around the book. Number one is the elevation, your branding, everything. What would that cost? But also when you talk to people, JV partners, others, then you don't need to explain yourself. And of course, in your case, you don't need to explain yourself because everybody knows you. But for people who might go into industry, they don't know me. Well, a book is the best introduction. And of course, like you said, you can use it in top of the funnel as a lead magnet. And I mean, a book like that, for instance, which is done beautifully, very nicely, and is very tasteful, I think this is going to be a great lead magnet.
Great, yeah.
So what other ways can you tell us to use a book to elevate your branding?
You can once you've got a physical copy, you can then use it as an online version.
Yeah.
And we give our digital versions away at the start of our events.
Yeah.
So I might do a Facebook ad or YouTube ad where I'm giving away the book, and at the same time they get invited to one of our online events.
Yeah.
So they get the book, they come to the online event, we build relationships.
Yes.
Also, you can then put a link in your bio, for example, on your Instagram.
Yes.
And you can just have people go to that. You can use this as a dim strategy on Instagram. Hey, DM me the word book and I'll send you my book.
Yeah.
People out there are loving information right now. People have woken up that their way is not the best way, and the information world, I believe, sector is going to be one of the fastest growing over the next 5 years. Because people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. So, Diyari, if someone is listening to this and they are starting from scratch, what would be an overview of the steps that they need to? How do they get started?
So, number one is that you need to know, how that book will serve you. A lot of people get very hung up on the idea of their personal story, which is great, and I'm sure everybody has an amazing story in their lives. But how does that book serve you or serve your mission, whatever that mission might be? And I think that's very, very important. So we don't deviate from that. And also staying true to your message. A lot of time the message, you read the first chapter, it's all about what the premise of the book, and then chapter 2, 3, 4, they kind of digress and they go into a different direction, and that's why people close the book and they don't read it. So from the very beginning to the very end, and the book has to have certain aha moments for people. The whole reason somebody will sit down and read a book, your book, is because they want to get a few nuggets. They want to get into your world. They want your take. I mean, how many people out there might be doing property? But I want to know your take on property. That is very, very important. I want to know what Liam J. Ryan thinks about property, and that might be different from XYZ. And people actually pay money for that, So never forget your take on it. Now, once you know your mission, you know how that book will serve your mission, and of course, if you are not sure, you can ask around. Now we've created something like that in my academy, the Book Legacy Academy, whereby we help people to actually carve out these ideas, these things. And then once you do that, then you can go the old-fashioned way to write the book yourself, which is great fun, by the way. We all know that. Or you can dictate it, like you said, or other things. Or nowadays, you can let ChatGPT do all the research, or use a software like mine, for instance, or other softwares, and do all the research. And then after that, you put the book together. But never, never forget to reread your book and give it to others to proofread it for you, because sometimes we become quite, blind. We don't see our own mistakes in the book, and when somebody else read it, they can point out. But the main thing is, with any book, even if you use the launch system that I have, or you use ChatGPT or my software, the idea is stay true to the mission of the book from the beginning to the end. Because if you start with talking about property, that all of a sudden becomes your personal story, then it becomes something else and about your holidays and whatever. And people do that sometimes. That's a big, big, big mistake. So your
Stay on topic.
Yeah, stay on topic.
Stay on topic.
And people pay attention to your take on it.
Great,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, no, I think it's incredible. I think in today's marketplace, personal brand is so important, and anyone can build a personal brand. And one of the best ways to do that is to work with you and to launch a best-selling book. You know, it's such an asset.
And people forget how important the cover of the book is. I mean, the book itself is super important. But the cover nowadays, especially in this quick world of people having like a 3-second attention span on Amazon or Kindle or whatever, that cover has to stand out. And how do you make a cover stand out? Well, that's an entire science of itself. And that's where we also can help, or other people can help as well, graphic designers, clever ones. But pay attention to the cover. I love your cover, by the way.
Thanks.
The cover, actually, can we show it again? The cover here, for instance, it tells what's in the book. You look at the cover, you know exactly what that book is about. And that's brilliant. So
Great.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
It's amazing.
Excited.
So, I mean, for if people want to know more information, they can contact you, contact me, and we are more than happy to help. But otherwise, I think everybody should have a book at least. And better yet, everybody should have a best-selling book. And I'm aiming for my 4th book now soon. So here we go.
So if you are somebody that really wants to create more wealth for you and your future, then why don't you look at becoming a professional property investor where you can take advantage of the UK's #1 asset class and make passive income and also capital appreciation. So I'd invite you now to click the link in the comments or the bio and go and access my latest book called Property Success. This is where I introduce you to the 7 step-by-step system known as the Property Freedom Formula that I have used personally to do over £31 million worth of property development. So go and do that right now. I really hope you enjoy this asset, and it could be the difference that makes the difference and gets you up and running in the next 90 days.